But yeah, reverb going on. Stupid. You sound as if you're going to break into tunes any second. Oh, we're live.
We're live. I'm just like...
Okay.
Hello.
It's 213 of the BrewGooders, the Beer Comics Assorted Geekery podcast. I hope everyone's doing all right. I'm Geoff. I'm joined. Well, it's a full crew tonight, which is really, I think, it's the first time in ages. But below me, we've got the star of that beautiful video of the Big Swally, Mr. Lagerlog Stew. On my right, but not a member of the far right, we've got Andrew McGee, and on the bottom far right, but not a member of the far right either, is Jobbers. How are we doing?
Doing good, yeah.
What's the bottom far right? Like that's
The bottom. He's not there. What is the
The monster reading loony party.
far right, and then
Aye.
the bottom far right.
Yeah, it's like FDL or the EDL, isn't it? Like that's the bottom far. It's like the worst of the worst.
The worst time.
Right, anyway.
It's a movie they would never have made, even Julia Roberts.
We'll save that for our political podcast, the Brew World Order. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go. That's it. If we ever did like a politics podcast, that's what it'd be called.
Never.
No, we're never. No, we'll shoot ourselves in the foot. Yes, we are not here to talk politics. We're just here to talk about beer comics and Assorted Geekery. So we don't have a guest tonight. It's just the four of us. But that's usually that's good fun when the four of us are just talking shite. And it's been a relatively eventful week in geekdom anyway. So yeah, it should be fun. What's everyone drinking this evening?
I'm drinking Brothers
Oh yeah,
in-law.
hazy Australian pale ale.
Hazy Australian Pale Ale. Australians do not fuck about. It's 5.8%. How do I always describe a good hazy pale ale?
Something to do with piss.
Looks like a half pint.
Can't see through it.
So you can't see through it. There's nothing to it. I'll tell you how much flavour it's got just now. Oh, that's nice. A wee bit better. We touch a bit on it because it's established this year. Andrew hates flavour beer. So it's not sweet at all. We bit aftertaste. Very pleasant indeed. 5.8%. It says Australian. I'm dubious. It's going to say like made in Chelsea or something.
Alloa.
There's no way I'm reading that, even in my reading glasses. Yeah, no way. It's part of getting old. You're getting old when you've got like 3 different pairs of glasses and you've got to take them off and change them depending on what you're doing. Am I using computer? Am I reading? Am I trying not to walk into a lamppost? Yeah. Old man problems. Yeah, that's me. Brothers.
See what you're drinking.
I'm going to crack open Forever Ago, which is a New England IPA from Boundary Brewing in Ireland.
Those cans are awesome. The Boundary cans are really cool. Those wraparounds.
Yeah. So 6% New England IPA.
Nice.
Love a New England IPA.
Do a NEPA.
I love it. You gotta love a NEPA, like. Love a good NEPA. Oh, what have you put in the glass? Stu? What glass are you using?
No.
Oh, that's a pretty glass. It's like the one that
we have a cold one. Brilliant.
Yeah. If that's such a nice glass that if it was in a pub, Andrew would steal it.
I was very tempted at the weekend. I'll tell you, I was out at the old Hill End pub in Dalgety Bay.
Oh,
yeah, they've got a Green King IPA, and it comes in a beautiful glass that's got edged and rugged. It's beautiful. I was the only person drinking them, and I couldn't have got away with it. There was only like 7 people in the pub as well. you have to time it right when you're going to steal a nice.
I didn't stop you when there was only like 4 of us in PG Malloy's that day.
That's the second time I'd ever been in Malloy's, and I've never been back since. And I kind of knew that when I was there. Whereas the Hill End is a pub that I do frequent fairly occasionally. So if I'd got away with it, then next time I'm in, they would have been like, "Did you bring that glass?"
Oh, that's murky.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a big head.
Get a flake at the fridge.
Was it said in the Boddington's advert? Do you want a flake with that?
Yeah.
It smells really nice, like grapefruit. It's no overly sweet either. And just kind of like a nice balance, not bitter.
Cool.
Yeah, murky, hazy, low bitterness, and absolutely delicious.
Oh, good.
It's really good advertising.
Yeah, it's good advertising. I got my beer from. I was in Glasgow last weekend and went to. Always forget what it's called. It's on Great Western Road. It's called like Valhalla's Beard or something. I'll need to dig out what the beer shop's called, but it's this amazing beer shop. Probably has to be one of the best beer shops in Scotland, if not the best, on Great Western Road. Which is annoying. I can't remember its name. So Google it before, but obviously it's been a weird couple of months for everyone. You know, obviously I think it's the first time the four of us have been in a room or in a digital room in fucking ages. And I was just kind of thinking about how we I read this piece of research that was talking about how like a lot of people we spend like a lot of our childhood being told that you can be whatever you want to be and we can be the best and we can achieve our goals, and then it creates this like horrible narrative in humanity's life where we have this relentless pursuit of trying to like measure success against external markers and comparing ourselves to our fellow man, and often this leaves the majority of humanity feeling really, really unfulfilled. And then you've got like social media exasperating that issue and perpetuating inadequacy and just this myth of a final destination of happiness that can be achieved if we attain certain goals. And ultimately it just leaves all of us unhappy. And I think research suggests that 98% of people that have ever been asked, have you achieved your life goals, say no. So when I was selecting my beer this weekend, I decided to change that narrative, and I've gone with a beer called You Can Maybe Do It, which is I was expecting more from that. Come on, that was fucking. Sorry.
I was like, this is good.
That was a bit dark. I was like, oh,
The build up to that is
Jesus.
Sorry.
So 98%. I think it was 98% of people never achieve their goals.
You can do whatever you want to do, people.
Please go drink some beer.
We do it. I like that. It tells like it's like having a conversation with a can, because you're like, what kind of beer is it? And it says right on the bottom of the can, this is an IPA, which I think is quite cool as well. And it's from a brewery in London called Pretty Decent Beer Company. I just that feeds into my ongoing like everything's all right. It's fine. It's just okay. And I even like that the brewery is like, yeah, we're pretty decent. We're not like they're not like yeah.
You should start a brewery called the Salty Alright Beer Company.
I love that. That's what our brewery would be called. It's fine.
The no bad brewery. No bad.
It's the
could be worse.
I did open it about 5 minutes ago, and when I opened the can, it's got mosaic hops in it. And when I first opened the can, it was that big. It was a really kind of. I've heard breweries refer to that as like dank, that dankness. Mm-hmm. But then I also know that's that kids use that, like teenagers use that, like total dank rhymes in that or whatever. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. It's a 5% NIPA and it's good. It's not 6%. It's 6%. It's fine.
It's anything over 6% it's not a midweek beer. It's like to say anything under 4 is a breakfast beer. Over 6 is
saying that it's Anzac, which I don't know what that means. But,
it's the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps.
Yeah, okay.
Anzac.
Okay. So she was talking. She said Geoff, and I think she was talking to you. But that's fine.
I've got an Australian beer. It's me. It's Australian beer. Kelly.
But that's fine. I think it packed that as a NIPA packed a wee bit more of a. It was a good sale job. I was totally sold by that. Just a really kind of like deliberately basic can, but I probably could have done with it being a wee bit an extra % or two to just really. But it's fine. 5% NIPA is quite a funny thing anyway. Like a NIPA for me is usually about 6 and a bit %. That's kind of like that's kind of the New England IPA perfect bit. So when you get anything down to like 5 or 4, I always feel like it's a bit like watered down. Even maybe just doesn't feel as powerful. But aye. What are you drinking, John?
Bars lemonade.
It's gotta be
Lovely.
Bars.
In a glass. Came from a bottle. Nothing exciting for me.
Amazing.
A plastic bottle or a glass bottle?
A plastic bottle?
Are you taking it back to get your 20p back from the shop? Do you still get 20p
No.
back for glass bottles?
I think you do. Yeah.
You still get glass bottles?
You do get glass bottles though, yeah.
We had this conversation. Were you not here the last time you were on the show, Andrew? Did we not have a conversation about the glass bottle phenomenon?
I'm 52, mate. I don't know what I'm doing now.
I'm having glass bottle themed conversation deja vu. There's a company in Dunfermline that still does glass bottles, and you get 20% off your 20 pence off your next order.
Well, the bars ones, you used to be able to take the bottle back and use it to buy shopping. Like you would save, when back in the 70s, you'll not believe this, but most families got paid weekly on a Thursday or a Friday. So by the Wednesday, if your mum needed potatoes or something like that, she would send you down with a plastic bag full of about 8 glass bottles. They weren't worth 20p at the time; they were worth like 8p. And that 64p would get you like £3 of potatoes to make the chips on the Thursday, the chips and egg, which is what you had on the Thursday the day before payday. So that's working class Scotland in the 70s for you kids.
Yeah,
chips and egg. Glass bottles that you buy on a Friday and Saturday and Sunday when you've actually got money left. There you go.
There you go. I have just been informed, obviously very reliably, that the shop that I was in last weekend is called Valhalla's Goat, and it's a beer shop on Great Western Road.
Nice.
Good. Well, folks should check that out. If you
Remember that?
Yeah, it was a really awesome shop. Anyway, how's everyone's week been? What have folk been doing? And I don't know. I haven't read any comics this week. I don't know if anyone else has. Comics have eluded me this week.
I haven't, but I got a really good book that I bought just on the strength of its cover. I'll show you it.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
That's
Horror,
I would got that.
A novel by Grady Hendrix, and it's like a horror novel.
It looks like an IKEA catalogue.
Horror book that takes place in a shop called Orsk. And the whole thing's sort of designed to make it look like an IKEA catalogue. There's things for putting the furniture together in it and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's real cool.
And yeah, I bought it off the strength of I seen it, and I thought, yeah, I'm having that. And it's pretty good. It's like a slasher horror zombie type thing. But very good. So yeah, Horror Store. A novel by Grady Hendrix.
That's clever as fuck. Yeah,
and he's seal of approval.
Yeah, it's clever as anything. What about you, Stu? Have you read anything?
No, but no, it's been an interesting week. This was my last day at my job. I start a new one come next week, so I've been out for like the bar lunch, finish at work. So it was like a Indian buffet, which I have not recovered from. Still am recovering. But yeah, a break, off to go for a wee caravan holiday this weekend as well. So yeah, everything's coming up Millhouse on my end.
It's
good to hear, man.
An all-you-can-eat Indian buffet and a caravan weekend that's two steps to a perfect weekend as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
just make sure you open the caravan windows. That's all. Especially after the
Got a solid 24 hours between the last.
Yeah, I'm hoping to leave all of that in Fife.
Yeah,
so. Nice.
Oh, and it was Aldi's Scottish Beer Month, so I have all the beer from that. But we could save that for the beer bit if you have time.
Yeah, sounds good. John, have you read? Oh, sorry. Have you read anything? What's the?
I have. I've been immersing myself in the world of Transformers. Because obviously I'm working on some Transformer stuff just now. it's got me in the mood. So I'm reading some the IDW run. Yes, there you go.
I love it. I
So
love
I've been
the
reading.
G1.
Yeah.
Things.
That's what I've been reading. I've been reading some of the G1 Transformers. Yeah, a lot of fun, classic stuff. Nothing too challenging for the brain, just a good time basically.
I was going to
Reminds
ask
me of
that
being a kid.
because obviously G1 wasn't known for its emotional depth as a.
Oh no.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, the British comics, which ran concurrently with the American comics, the British ones had a bit more depth.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun actually. The British ones. In fact, I think the British ones actually surpassed the American comics at that time.
I think in many ways, because they took it seriously, didn't they, John? They made it so that the characters took themselves seriously. They didn't try to make it some kind of ridiculous buddy comedy, like Bad Boys.
Oh my
sort of
God!
thing.
Here we go.
Here
we go.
Oh, you're saying they didn't like
here we go.
Like take it and just destroy the entire idea by just making it something that it wasn't. Is that what you're, is that what you're saying? Is this,
I think we're alluding to the Transformers 1 trailer that dropped last week and has divided the fandom.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
I think it's divided the fandom. I think the fandom, the people who are actually fans, are 100% against this heinous travesty of nonsense. And I know Colin has said it's no for us. It's for kids. But come on,
Colin just says that so that we all get really annoyed.
Movie or something like that. It's sort of Poundland Transformers.
The GoBots.
They could have done something like that without having to do this.
See,
I prefer
the way I look at it is we've got lots and lots of live action movies. Why not something else for the kids? That's it. We're going to get another live action Transformers G.I. Joe crossover at some point. So why not? There's something there for everyone.
I'm an animation for the kids. The Transformers 1986 was phenomenal. This just
untouchable.
This.
My favorite bit of the Transformers 86, I rewatched it with Sonny a couple of weeks ago, is the bit where Ultra Magnus, the new, like Andrew's favorite Transformer, but also the new leader of the Autobots at that point, and also voiced by Unsolved Mysteries Robert Stack, which is
Robert
just
Stack,
great.
Yeah.
There's a bit where they when they have to, like, they're getting chased by the Decepticons and they have to separate their spaceship, and Cup Hot Rod and the Dinobots kind of get separated from the rest of the crew. It's something like, I think it's RC shouts out something like, "Oh my God, Hot Rod and Cup are gone," and Ultra Magnus doesn't even look. He's still flying spaceship. Like, I can't worry about that now, and you're like, why not? It's like literally over half of your team are now supposedly dead, but you can't worry about this now.
Ultra Magnus
gave you the fucking Matrix, and you.
Yeah, no, but he didn't end up with the Matrix. Is the thing. Ultra Magnus understands that it's necessary, that sometimes sacrifice is necessary, but that's why Ultra Magnus decided that he wouldn't be the best leader. He's a follower. He's the warrior. He's the band, and that's why the spark was eventually handed over to Hot Rod to become Rodimus Prime. There you go. Yeah. And see that after years, nearly 40 years, we're still talking about it. Can you imagine they're going to be talking about this new movie in 40 years?
Yeah.
I'll do it just to annoy you.
Yeah, probably. People be sitting like,
remember back in the 2020s when Transformers 1 came out? Oh, yeah, boy.
Well, when you're 90s, we'll not even be sitting in a pub like the guys in Still Game because you dead drink. We'll be sitting on a park bench, me and you, John. Probably.
Your heads will be in jars.
Speaking of Still Game, another nice segue. Did you notice who's in the Deadpool trailer?
Aye.
Jack and
Victor. Did you notice Greg Hempel is in Deadpool?
I did not know. No, I watched the trailer. I think
if you watch the trailer again, he's the barman that serves Wolverine in the bar.
Aye.
That's Greg Hempel, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Victor McDadepool, I've been calling him.
I want to talk about that. Obviously, I knew we wanted to talk about Transformers 1. I really want to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. I've prepared something for that. So just when we move on to that properly, that'll be good.
Yeah, okay.
Well, my new favorite thing in the group chat is that when we in our mythical BrewGooders group chat, when we debate and argue about something, and then we post it, and then Colin just comes onto the comments of whatever we post and says, "This was made for 10-year-olds." And I think he's done that about 3 times now, and he's just like, we have this big long debate that he's kind of part of, and then when we take it public, he like completely like isolates himself from the narrative, and he's like, "It's fuck all to do with me."
I get that the Transformers is aimed at kids. It's not aimed at me. It's aimed at kids. But at the same time, they could have kept in things like that. Much like I'm not against the idea of them recasting Indiana Jones, because I was for a while. I was like, nobody but Harrison Ford can be Indiana Jones. But then it pointed out to me, it's like it's not going to be for you. You'll still have your, the 3 Indiana Jones movies that they made, the 3 good ones and the one alright one recently. It'll be for the next generation, and that's sort of what this G1. But then this G1 Autobots, the next generation is going to believe that Optimus Prime's fucking Will Smith or Keegan Michael Key or whoever it is that's playing him.
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth. One of them's Key, isn't it?
Like, they're wrong.
That's
Chris
Bumblebee.
Key or Peel. I'm not sure which one because
Bumblebee, yeah.
It's
It's Keegan Michael Key as Bumblebee, yeah.
right, okay. So it's John Hamm Megatron then, is it?
No, that's what's his face? Brian something. Can't remember his name, but he's in Bullet Train. He plays the brother of Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Brian Henry.
There you go, Brian Tyree Henry. There you go. He's
I just assume one of them's Chris. Is Chris Pratt playing the main guy?
no, it's Hemsworth, the star.
I just always assume it was Chris Pratt because he voices everything else, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's doing Garfield now as well. Yeah,
Mario, Garfield.
yeah.
It's just because I think he struggles with his weight. I think he's just going to put on more and more weight. So, when he's not actually being paid to stay fit, he just
Garfield. It's a cartoon.
Just gets massive. Yeah,
it's all lasagna.
Yeah.
I
Let's
think
get some of the blame.
it's got to be that
Method
guy.
acting.
Method acting. But can you imagine if he'd been in the whale? You said he Brendan Fraser. He just would have done it. He just would have been aye.
He's got a drawstring at the side. It just inflates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Colin Farrell. No, I'm against Transformers G1, obviously.
Okay.
I am like most of these things. Will just hold my. I don't have any expectations for it. Like Michael Bay has already ruined Transformers and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for me. So like I'm just kind of like.
You're looking back now at the good old days, the halcyon days of Michael Bay, and this is how bad this movie I think is going to be. You're going to be looking back fondly at the Michael Bay, and even the Michael Bay recent ones. The half decent ones with Mark Wahlberg. I'm talking about the Sam Witwicky one. I'm talking about one when there was only like 4 Transformers in it.
And the Kill Jazz.
And they killed Jazz, which is a disgrace. I mean, honestly. Yeah.
Still unhappy with that.
Yeah, he was one of the really cool ones. He's my second favourite of all the Autobots. It goes Ultra Magnus, Jazz, and then Brawn, because Brawn was phenomenal.
Brawn. Good call.
I was saying that she would take Michael Bay over this new film. I disagree.
You're absolutely spot on, Anna.
And you can take a film that appeals to new and old fans. It just takes effort. The studios aren't willing to make. So.
Just respect what's gone before. I mean, we've already seen. If you've read any of the comics, they made a brilliant comic about Megatron's sort of origin story a few years ago, called I, Megatron or something like that. Was it?
Hail Megatron or something like that.
Megatron, yeah.
I, Megatron sounds amazing though. I like this new. There's different narratives of like going back and like listening to like revisiting the early days of villains. I quite like that. And I know that's what was first X-Men First Class was supposed to originally was pitched as like the Magneto origin. But I like I listened to an audiobook called I, Davros, which was incredible, and it was basically I, Claudius, but from the perspective of like Davros and the Daleks. I think I, Megatron would be incredible. Megatron's origin story as like a simple slave.
They definitely they took, like, I think they took a lot from the Magneto sort of story. Like Megatron was initially, didn't he hate humans? Didn't he hate anybody else or something like that? He was just pro Decepticons. And pro things like that. And it's one of those groups that just gets more and more, thingy like that. But he's decided that he's well, I'm not against anybody. I'm just pro this group. But it's in the same way that certain groups are pro. I'm not going to get into politics or anything like that. Yeah, you can just go pro something, but you can't be anti something else.
Yeah. That's it. Like in order to be the supreme, you need to be better than something else, don't you? Yeah. That's the. I will. Sonny of all, like Sonny's my wee geek in the house, but he showed me his class are reading a book that I think that they're making a movie. DreamWorks are doing the movie this year. I think I've not researched this, but I had to double check. It's called Wild Robot.
Okay. So
I would recommend folk check out the trailer for that. I think it flew under the radar, but it's DreamWorks. Am I right in thinking that the release date for the new Transformers movie is about like September. So this movie that Sonny put me onto, the Wild Robot, comes out around about the same time. So this happened last year with multiverse movies. I quite like the idea that like you're going to get similar themed movies coming out at the same time, and the one you expect to be the blowout success is potentially going to be like not the good one. I remember going last year to watch Flash and Spider-Man and being like, thinking like I can't believe that the Flash came out and it's actually the second worst multiverse themed movie in the last like month. It was weird. Like I think that Transformers might end up being like the second best robot themed animated movie of the month that comes out, which is odd. But
I'm looking at some pictures from it now, and it looks hugely original and yeah.
I think it's it reminds me of it was an Iron Giant kind of vibes, but instead of like landing in like befriending a wee boy, it's like a robot that lands in like the forest and befriends the animals there. And I think it'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
Amazing.
Got the feels from the trailer. And no dialogue in the trailer that I saw. So I was like, oh, this is quite an original premise, like, because who would the robot speak to if he was in the forest? So that's pretty cool. That's Ben saying good evening to everyone. Ben wanted us to talk about all the new 77 ship. So drop me a message, Ben, and I'll the 77 are doing absolutely loads this month. So everyone should be reading the 77 because it's great. Will we talk about the Wolverine and the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. I will. Can I put up? I made a flow chart. I made a. I can't remember what it's called.
PowerPoint.
Yeah, no, I made a mind map. I made a mind map because I wanted to. There's just so much to cover. So let me put it up for. I love a mind map. Where are we? Great. There we go. My mind map.
Oh, here we go.
There you go. So,
F-bombs.
that was I've never known so many F-bombs in a trailer before. Like, yeah.
That has to be, because I think they have to keep it within a U or whatever the thing is. They're only allowed like 3. And I think they were all in the trailer. So
yeah. Well, Deadpool's going to be an R rating. Deadpool's going to be like 15. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I thought it was an amazing trailer. One of those, like, I've seen so many videos on YouTube, because we were talking about how, like, earlier before we went to air, how YouTube, like, YouTube obviously knows the algorithm, so it like suggests videos to you. And all my videos this week have been like just what we're about to do right now, dissecting the Deadpool trailer, because there's just so much to pick up. So yeah, where to begin? Loads of F-bombs, in jokes all over the place. So obviously we talked about it online. We talked about it in our group chat about them walking past the shoe shop.
Oh yeah, I say Liefeld shoes. Liefeld shoes.
Just which obviously is it's a total deep cut joke, isn't it? Like, I think it's one of those jokes that you're really proud that you get when you see it. You're like, okay,
yeah. The thing is, Liefeld's in it as well, because he posted a picture of his feet on Instagram and says, "You're welcome." So he's in it. He knows all about it. He's a good egg.
You know, in the second one, in Deadpool and Cable, he did that when he was mocking Domino for no Domino. Is it Domino he was mocking for a power?
Yeah, the luck powers. Yeah.
He's like, who would come? Luck, that's not a power. Who would come up with a power like that? Somebody who can't draw feet. That's who. That's the line for the second one, isn't it?
Yep.
That's good.
So, yeah.
Loads of conversation about like the there's a clip where like it's all the it's like a bunch of cameos from like old X-Men movies, and then as they're waiting for Giant Man's head to open up, and then the baddie comes out. A lot of folk arguing about like, no, it's not. It's Giant Man doesn't. Why are you calling him Giant Man? He's Ant Man, and it's like, no, Giant Man's a completely different character. So you could quite easily like. That's the rumor I've heard. It's not an Ant Man. It's a Giant Man, but it's still pretty cool that that's
Ant-Man
the base of operation.
Ant-Man is Giant Man, same guy. So.
Well,
right,
technically, the original Ant-Man was Hank Pym, and he became Giant Man, and also got Geoff.
But then Scott's done it in the movies, so.
Scott Lang's never been, as far as I'm aware, you'll know better than me, John, because you read more comics, but I don't think Scott Lang's ever been Giant Man in the comics.
Well, his daughter's stature now. Stature. I don't think in the comics he's went big.
But originally,
he did go big. He went big in. I'll need to dig it out. I've got a Giant Man short run series from a couple of years ago, where it's basically it's during like this big crisis with the frost giants. Where frost giants are attacking Earth, and so they assemble. Ant-Man assembles a team of all the other guys that have got growing and shrinking technology. Okay. And there's obviously it's just they're all relatively comedic characters, so they're all comparing size and like that's just how big can you go? Oh, I can go, that kind of stuff, and it's like that's cool. That's exactly what would happen as well. If a group of men all with the same power had the ability to grow big, they'd be like, I can go 70 meters. What can you go? Yeah, well, that's cute. That kind of stuff. So.
There's only three that I can think of. I think there's only Bill Foster, Hank Pym, and Scott Lang. But
there's
Giant Lad. There's Legion of Superheroes has got a giant character, and Giant Boy, Giant Lad. They're all just giant something, weren't they? They were all just
they were all just But in this thing, it was basically just all the Marvel Universe characters of guys that had the ability to grow. So in the comments, tell us all your fucking giant men. Yeah, I thought it was cool. But in that clip, and I think folk don't realize it because you're so used to seeing like the I think that's such a mad like shot because you see Giant Man's head opening up and you're like, that's cool as it is. But then if you actually see it, you've got a bunch of dead X-Men characters standing outside waiting. So like Lady Deathstrike's there, and the devil guy from First Class is standing there as well.
Yeah,
Pyro's there, and it's all the actors from the Fox movies as well. So that was pretty
the
cool.
baddie's Cassandra Nova, isn't it? So from the Grant Morrison run. Yeah,
I'm not
like that they had an actual physical 20th Century Fox sign in there as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was just very. It's going to be a very clever
think to do that.
No. You want to be in the writing room for these things, like thinking like because it's just must be like they must just throw everything at the wall and then be like, right, let's try and make a plot now. Like this is like,
pretty much, yeah.
They're trying to keep people busy. Like, see, they'll do this, and it'll be like a 90 seconds or 2 minutes thing. And they know that there's 15 geeks out there who are going to make 15-minute videos. Everything you missed in the Deadpool Wolverine trailer.
Oh, well, that's what I just said. It's all over my YouTube this week. It's been that's where I actually made this. I made this mind map while watching one of those videos. Going, oh, that's a good thing to talk about. I'm just going to steal your idea for my podcast. This thing. Some total bizarre spoilery cameos as well. I think I remember. That's the thing. Like, just so much. Obviously, all these cameos in that one shot of all the different villains that you assume get bigger parts in the film or not. But like I've heard stuff like there's a scene where they're driving and like it looks like a car from Mad Max, but apparently it's a converted Red Skull car. You know, the car that Red Skull drives in the First Avenger.
Yeah.
And just like loads of these things. And I'm checking what there's rumors that Chris Evans is going to be in the film, but not as Captain America.
There was a lot of different people caught on set. There was a lot of telescopic lens photos. And I just stopped looking at them. I thought, too many spoilers. I'll just watch the film.
It was going to be Johnny Storm, wasn't it? He was going to reprise.
Yeah, that's the rumor I read.
Yeah.
So, Taylor Swift rumored to be in the film, and obviously, but hear me out. The rumor, but also if you look at Marvel's release catalog, because I'm a fucking nerd, for July they're releasing Dazzler. They're releasing a Dazzler comic in July. So
I'm fairly sure I've seen either like some AI generated fan art of her as Dazzler, and that would be a line in the sand for me. I think if Taylor Swift ever entered the Marvel universe, that would be me. Done with it.
Really?
You have to fight John because he's got he likes his Taylor Swift.
He's a Taylor Swift.
I mean, didn't Harry Styles show up at the end of that film no one watched?
Give him a cup.
Yeah, Eternal. He did with he showed up as Thanos' brother, didn't he? He was
Fire Lord. No, Fire. Christ.
Was he even purple?
Yeah. He's a Titan. He's part of the same race.
Yeah.
But,
he's like Eros or something, isn't he? So
yeah.
I haven't seen it, but does he just look like Harry Styles?
Yes.
Wearing like a costume that looked like it belonged to one of the other characters from the same film. You know what I mean? Like that weird sort of nobility. Like all those Marvel costumes look the same, and they're really nice. But like those costumes,
that wasn't a bad film, by the way. I'm going to, like I say again, it's line in the sand. Firefox. Jonathan McKinstry's just put up Firefox.
Yeah, Firefox. Yeah.
And my mind's gone. No, that's Clint Eastwood, but that's a completely different thing. That wasn't a bad movie. But yeah, he appeared at the end of it. We're never, apparently, as far as I'm aware, we're never now getting to see any sort of sequel to that at all. Which means
they've even talked about having they've even talked about the fact that we won't get a payoff for because when they're not the Black Knight that's the guy from
Jon Snow.
Jon Snow guy. I'm trying to get the actor's name, but the guy from Silicon Valley who's also in the guy that plays Ganesh, and I'm trying to actually
exactly.
Oh,
he was in Eternals too, and
he's in Eternals. He's also in the new Ghostbusters. I just quite like this idea that he shows up in
Kumail Nanjiani.
Kumail Nanjiani,
I just like the idea that he keeps showing up in like he gets signed up for franchises as they're dying. Like it's like
that tracks. Men in Black International.
Yeah,
it's the Silicon Valley thing. I think it's the kiss of death, because I think was the main sort of guy for Silicon Valley was in the first two Deadpool, and
T.J. Miller.
T.J. Miller.
He was an asshole though, wasn't he? That was the whole.
Allegedly, yeah. I'm not sure exactly what was said, but yeah, allegedly. He didn't.
One of the women that called him out for his behaviour actually apologised when she did it. She's like, "I'm really sorry to do this, but he's not a nice guy." Because you want to think that these guys that play assholes in TV programs are actually all right.
Aye.
And that's part of the joke. But then I think that's the thing with
he got Silicon Valley as well, didn't he?
His career was totally going up, TJ, because he was one of the antagonists in Ready Player One as well.
Yeah,
and he did voices in all these he did voices in loads of Disney films, and all of a sudden it was just like, oh no, he's blacklisted. That was a shame. The guy that plays is a Guilfoyle in Silicon Valley. He's one of the teachers in the Spider-Man movies. He's brilliant.
Martin Starr.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's good.
Guilfoyle's one of the. It's like, you know how there's like every show, you know, like Parks and Rec has Ron Swanson, and The Office has Dwight Schrute. Guilfoyle from Silicon Valley is up there. He's absolutely brilliant. Just the most amazing.
I just love it. Well, he's great in that. There's probably one of my favourite moments in the MCU, and I don't know why I find it so funny, but it's a bit in Spider-Man Far From Home, the one with the big fight scene in London, and it's like the two teachers that are running the trip, And then the other teacher, who's equally as funny, is like, "Oh my god, they're forming together like the Power Rangers!" And as the kids are running around screaming, he just turns around and is like, "Voltron, you're thinking of Voltron," and they move. They have this like side debate in the middle of this crisis. It's great. So it makes me every time. That's Anna saying that she'd fight for a Dazzler cameo by Taylor Swift. So
I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift for a variety of reasons. Not least of which she spoiled my holiday.
Sorry.
I was going to book a holiday to Bulgaria in June, and it's predicated upon Declan and Kieran, his partner, being able to have the dog. But unfortunately they can't, because on the 18th of June they're going to Cardiff. Can you imagine why they're going to Cardiff?
To see Taylor Swift in concert.
To see Taylor Swift in concert. So I've got
a cool Taylor Swift segue here as well. Taylor Swift has made 2 wrestling shows for me quite challenging in the last 2 years. In that, apparently she affected the seating arrangements for the show that me and Stu went to in London. Like there was this weird moment where I know Stu paid more than me because he actually cares more, but I paid like next to no money to get my seat in Wembley for the wrestling last year, and as a result I was miles away from the ring, and there was this whole section of stadium empty, and it was like, why couldn't they just move us down there so that we look, so we could be closer to the ring rather than have like this whole empty side of the stadium and all of us like millions of miles away. It was done like that because they had to cater for Taylor Swift's stage setup the week before. And then there's a big wrestling show in the Hydro this year that is costing like 320 quid for like the cheapest ticket. And a lot of folk are like, why are they even having it in the Hydro? Why don't they have it in like Murrayfield? And it's because Taylor Swift's in Murrayfield.
She's coming. Right. And like I say, my son and his partner are going to see Taylor Swift. They're coming to Murrayfield, and they'll crash up. I'm a big rugby fan, as you well know. I'm a season ticket holder over there. They trash the ground. They damage the grass. It affects the rugby.
I quite like this. I had a friend that took his son to see, he took his daughter to Ibrox to see Harry Styles. And he put up on Facebook, he was like, I went to Ozfest the last year it ran in 2003. I went to see he's like, I've been to the Leeds Festival every year since 2009. I've been to 4 downloads, and he listed all these heavy metal festivals he'd been to, and then he was like, but nothing could prepare me for Harry Styles at Ibrox. It's like
what's exciting thing?
There's like this idea of respectful metal fans and rugby fans, big burly guys that like listen to like aggressive shit, and Taylor Swift and Harry Styles fans are ruining everything.
It's a generation. You always think that the next generation are ruining music. They're coming along with all that shit. It's just a generation. I've just become that age. I'm just like my dad now, when he was talking about Little Richard and Elvis and didn't understand who Blondie was. And we tried to explain to him why Madness were important, or the Jam. And he's just like, that's just noise. And then 30 years later, you hear yourself listening to something on the radio and go, what the fuck is that shit? And that's when you know you're old.
Well, my kids just discovered Mr. Vane. Apparently, it's been quite popular on TikTok or something just now, and she's been singing it all week. And I'm like, that song's 31 years old.
Yeah,
I feel ancient.
I have that whole thing as well, where like when you're like that exact thing you were saying about like feeling old and like listening to modern music, being like, that's just noise, and then I go through my playlist and it's like Pendulum, Faithless, The Prodigy. I'm like, well, that actually is just noise. I
also take old classical music. I'll try and play the kids like Killing in the Name of, or something like that. Or the Beastie Boys. When they're
playing the Beastie Boys, they're like, is that classical music?
Yeah, classical music. That's what it is.
Classical music, yeah. Good stuff.
Great. This is a really in-depth discussion about the Deadpool and Wolverine show.
Yeah, man.
I really like the drug argument at the end, where like the old lady's trying to get him steaming, and he's just like, "We can't talk about this here."
Yeah. She's
Do you want to build a
in,
snowman? Yes.
she's in Fallout as well. Apparently, she's in episode 1. Is it Fallout?
Was that
Oh,
her?
is she like one of like the three?
Yeah.
Like not the three elders, but it's like the committee in charge of the vault.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is, yeah.
I just started Fallout actually. Started it yesterday. It's good.
I started it yesterday as well. Only got halfway through the first episode, but it's great fun. It's good.
I'm 2 episodes in, and I'm enjoying it so far. Yeah.
Well, I tell you, the two most exciting things that have happened. If we're done with Deadpool and Wolverine, are we?
Oh no, I just want to highlight probably the main point for me and Stu that I don't know if Stu had this vibe, but when you watch the trailer and like I really like the use of music in MCU movies and just in action movies in general. Obviously, the big tune in the Grado trailer and the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer is like a prayer by Madonna. And if you're a wrestling fan living in Scotland, that song is associated with the wrestler Grado. So I just got that just like impression. I was like, yeah. So Grado comes out to like a prayer by Madonna and can get thousands of burly, angry wrestling fans singing, "Would you call my name?" So like seeing that in the Deadpool trailer totally blew my mind because like, oh my god, like that's just such a bizarre song. Obviously it'll have like bigger meaning in the film, but such a bizarre pick for what's going to be a really brutal R-rated movie with loads of blood and swearing and stuff. So yeah, sorry, that was it. Did you want to talk about Fallout, guys? Is that where that was going?
I've just seen the first couple of episodes. That's it. Yeah.
I've watched the first episode. I'll watch the rest at some point. No doubt. I'm in the middle of something else, but
yeah. No, they're all quite long. The episodes are like an hour long each. The first episode was like an hour and a quarter.
Yeah, who can concentrate on that?
Well, speaking of concentration for a long time, I watched Rebel Moon 1 and 2.
I'm going to talk about Rebel Moon 2 because I watched it at the weekend, and it was everything I hoped and feared it would be.
Well, I'd heard Rebel Moon wasn't great, and I hadn't had a chance to watch it when it first came out. And I watched it the other day, and I was like, okay, fair enough. You can see what the original pitch was because it was originally meant to be a Star Wars movie, and I'm going to assume it was Magnificent Seven meets Star Wars, or A Bug's Life meets Star Wars, which is pretty much what it was, you know. Well, that's what it is. A Bug's Life is just the Seven Samurai story. But you can see at one point, all of a sudden, they have like laser swords. What the hell? Where did that come from? And then they're all fighting with laser swords, even though the guys have all got guns, and they could have just stopped, did an Indiana Jones and shot her. But no, laser sword fight for no reason whatsoever other than it looked cool.
Yeah.
So the first one I was like, eh. And then I watched the second one and holy crap. Wow.
It was an hour too long. And it was only a 2-hour movie. So
it was a 2-hour movie, yeah.
Yeah, there was
that whole first hour.
Bringing in the festival, bringing in the hay, and doing unnecessary backstory nonsense for all the characters.
It's not just that. It's the fact that there's this urgency. Right, we've got 5 days, and spoilers. We've got 5 days to bring in the crop, right? So, which normally takes them I don't know. Let's say a whole cycle or something. I don't know how long that is. I'm going to assume a month, 2 months, whatever. They do it in 2 days, and they still have time to A-team the place up by building like gun turrets and fucking trenches and stuff. What the hell? And then they have like a big massive like party before it. No. It made me angry.
I think you see once the action got going, I thought it was pretty good. Not original. There's no original storyline or character in it. You know, basically, I think I put a comment up saying that there was that scene where Khal Drogo was fighting alongside Ripley from Alien, Rita Battle Angel, and one of the droids from Destiny, and that's pretty much what it was. The main character was fundamentally Luke and Leia sort of rolled into one character. And Han, was the sort of love interest who unspeakable things happened to at the end. The action sequences I thought was pretty decent. I think, listen, it was easily as good as as 2 out of the 3 recent Star Wars trilogy movies.
Yeah,
So,
no,
I really I think Snyder's action. I think I talked about this when the first one came out. But I really hate Snyder's slow-mo shit that he does. So like there'll be like a It does that constantly. It just
he's done it. I mean, you almost redid a scene from 300. Some of it was borrowed from Sucker Punch and stuff like this. You know, when he knows what he does, he does it well.
It's obviously folk enjoy it, and I enjoyed those films. I enjoyed the Watchmen movie he did. I rewatch fairly regularly. But I find that aspect of his action sequences quite tedious.
It's like he's
I wasn't used to that being a feature of his action sequences back then. So, you know, now that I see it all the time, I'm like, oh, he does this in every movie. He slows down the action, like he does it in the first bit of. He does it in the what's that called? The comedian fight at the beginning of Watchmen, and that's a really good action set piece. But then I'm like, no, I've seen this already.
Yeah, and he uses the same composer all the time, and the music's all like, I can't do it, but it's all slow and oh, come on.
Is it Hans Zimmer? Or?
It's Tom Hulkenberg, Junkie XL, who did the music for like Batman vs Superman and Justice League and stuff like that.
I don't know
if can do good music.
Hey. There's a piece of music which annoyingly has been tied up with the wrong member of the Justice League in hindsight. I really like there's a really quality good bit of music in the Snyder cut of Justice League when the Flash it's the first time he has to run really fast to counter the effects of the I can't remember what they call it, the moment or something. But it's a bit where like basically the universe ends and then the only way they manage to avoid the situation is Barry has to run faster than time. Yeah. To reverse it, and there's a really cool for that scene, which I think is total Junkie XL. But yeah, it gets tedious and annoying. It's like a one-trick pony kind of thing for me.
Yeah, and I think as I'll defend the Zack Snyder Justice League trilogy of movies until the end of time, but that Rebel Moon 1 and 2 a bit kind of.
I liked the Snyder cut Justice League. I thought it was. I think the things that Joss Whedon done to them, which I'll segue nicely into Joss Whedon in just a second. But the things that Joss Whedon did to it made it worse, and I think the things he did were better. And I wish they'd got another one there. I liked Sucker Punch. I liked Watchmen. But, you know, I'm a big fan. Yeah, I'm a fan. You know, Joss Whedon, on the other hand, he can't get a job in Hollywood anymore. But very exciting news is what I heard. I only just found out this week. It actually happened in February, and I've just, because my hand's not been on the pulse. But they finally released, there was another 6 episodes of the show he made called The Nevers.
All right, yeah.
So the 12 episodes are available now. Not anywhere in Britain, as far as I can aware. You've got to take to the high seas to find them. But I discovered them this week, so I'm rewatching the first 6 in preparation for watching the last 6, which Joss Whedon apparently didn't have anything to do with it because he'd already been moved on because of his rather shoddy behaviour. But it wraps the story quite well, apparently. It sort of ends the story. There's no cliffhanger, and we get things, because I raved about this remember a couple of years ago I raved about this show.
I remember you raving about it, yeah, but I never watched it, yeah.
It was great. You don't get steampunk shows. Steampunk just doesn't work. You know, on TV or film or something like that. Very, very rarely you get a decent steampunk. And this is as steampunk as they come. Very good. I don't know if Geoff's frozen.
It's a funny genre, steampunk. Yeah, it keeps going out. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I really liked I like the steampunk genre, but like it doesn't seem to translate very well. I don't really know why. I remember Sean, my oldest son, getting really excited because a book that he'd read that's been made into a movie. And I read it and it was like really steampunky, and its name escapes me, but it was about basically like all the cities of the world going onto wheels and then driving around. And, like
Mortal Engines.
Mortal Engines. So it was set on London, smaller towns, It was pretty cool. It was a cool concept. It was very steampunky, but the film wasn't very good. Surprisingly, I don't know. It's funny.
Hard to put that sort of thing onto thingy, but I actually watched that movie and I didn't think it was that bad. Certainly, I've seen worse movies.
Yeah, totally. I watched X-Men. Is anyone? There's no point talking about it because we've talked about it loads. Is anyone up to date with X-Men '97? No, other than me.
Indeed, yes. Fully up to date. Yes.
It's a good show.
That is a good show.
They revealed their big baddie this week. I have is my favorite baddies in the original '90s animation were Mr. Sinister and being the guy that's in charge of the Sentinels, and I really like Mr. Sinister. Is just terrifying, but they're just kind of series. They serve like a bigger baddie who was revealed this week. I wouldn't say who it was because lots of folk.
So what do you guess?
Just a really cool show.
Yeah, it's a good show. It's got no right. It's good. That's right. It's got no right to be that good. Yeah.
Just really it's balancing the melodrama really well, which was always what was quite cool about the early series anyway, where it was like I always kind of felt like
nope. Okay, we've lost him.
He's gone.
He's gone. Okay.
Right. Let's talk about him.
Let's talk about
so
Geoff.
Any of you guys watching the X-Men cartoon?
I'm not.
It's surprisingly good. I wasn't going to watch it. Because I wanted to watch the originals again. Well, I say again for the first time because I can never get through it because it's just so bad. Sometimes it's actually not that bad. So I figured, you know what, stuff it. I'll just watch the new version, and you know what, it's surprisingly good. Takes me back to all the X-Men stuff I loved back in the '90s. That's when I started properly collecting X-Men, when it was all like Cable and X-Force and X-Men Blue and Gold and all that Jim Lee X-Men.
Yeah, X-Factor, X-Force and X-Men at the time. I think X-Factor was the original 5, sort of reformed at that point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then all the best X-Men ever. You know my favourite X-Men. You had Phantom X, was part of X-Force, I think. Who's great. Bishop, Cable, and Forge. I don't know if they make their way into the new show.
Forge is in the cartoon, yes. Cable's in the cartoon, yeah.
Forge is a great character, fascinating character. This idea that you can create anything or build anything from.
Yeah.
Amazing. I think you see shows. What was that? That was briefly a comment there. I think you didn't need to dumb things down or make it for kids. You can make it for kids and adults, I think, and that's what Netflix has shown recently with things like that. I think last year or the year before, whenever it came out, I raved about the He-Man comic, the He-Man show, which had enough for kids and enough the look and feel of the old one, but less episodic and a more arc-like storyline, which covered a lot, and it was absolutely brilliant. I know season 2's up now. Revolution, or I think that is called.
Really good. Yeah.
Haven't watched it yet, but I've been saving that for a rainy day. And I believe they've done the same here with things like that. Netflix knock it out of the park with some of their animations. Again, another one I raved about last year. I think it was last year was the League of Legends one that they did, which was the best looking cartoon I've ever seen in my entire life. It looked like it was
Arcade. That was called.
Arcade. Yeah, it looked like it was painted.
I tried to watch that. I couldn't get into that. It lasted about 10 minutes. Couldn't it?
Yeah, no, it's very, very good. They've actually 2 episodes is when they're kind of younger, and then there's a jumpy 15 years forward, and that's when it sort of really starts to.
Okay.
It's really, really good.
Might go back.
Netflix just smash it anyway. I like live action anime stuff. I don't know if that's a popular. It isn't. Their Avatar series that came out was really good, and I quite like One Piece as well.
I've not seen the One Piece live action or the anime, to be honest. Again, it's one of those things that I apologise, but it's not aimed at me. But I want an up to date She-Ra, Ulysses, in the 30th century, Lost Cities of Gold, and obviously, or Thundercats, and obviously the one that we most want to see, which is Gatchaman Ninja Force. Battle of the Planet Force. Why they've never made a live action or an up to date? Somebody did a live action trailer for a Battle of the Planets thing a couple of years ago on YouTube, and it was false. And the internet went nuts because everyone believed it was real, and there was celebrations, and there was partying in the streets of Tokyo and things like this. And then they realised it was just a fake. And I think the guy was hung, drawn, and quartered for crimes against humanity for it not being real. That's things what I see. If these things do well, they can bring in all the things that I remember. Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, Defenders of the Earth.
Well, they'll die. The Dungeons and Dragons characters died because they left that open, that thread open. Like, what happened to the Dungeons and Dragons kids? Because obviously we never finished what happened to them. But then if you've seen Honor Among Thieves, like, they all died.
Are they in Honor Among Thieves? I haven't seen that movie.
They're oh, sorry, spoilers for a film that came out a couple of years ago. There's a bit where they have like the main characters go on trial. There's like one of these sort of gladiatorial games, but the other contestants in these gladiatorial games are the kids from the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. They don't interact with them. You kind of see them in the background, but it's clearly them, and then you see them all get dispatched horribly.
Awesome.
That's what happened. I read
a comic a couple of years ago. I think it was called Die, and I've still got it upstairs. And it was amazing. It was a bit similar idea about kids that got pulled into an RPG game, but it was much darker. I meant to lend it to you. I think, Geoff, I spoke about it a couple of years ago. It was phenomenal. Yeah. All right. So we'll get follow up to that then. So
they're doing comics just now for the Dungeons and Dragons.
For the Honor Amongst Thieves, or the comedy show?
Original cartoon. Yeah, the IDW are doing Saturday morning cartoons branded comics, and they've got a Turtles one. They've done G.I. Joe, Transformers, and now they're doing Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm going to be getting Battle of the Planets. That's what I want to know.
What's Battle of the Planets?
JC the
No. Andrew's taking off.
Jason the Wheel Warriors. That was my favourite 80s cartoon.
Jason the Wheel Warriors.
Anyone else remember Jason?
I remember Jason. I remember that being disturbing as hell.
Jason. What was that?
Jason and the Wheeled Warriors. Yeah, with their
Argonauts. I've got to say that.
It was like vegetables with wheels and stuff. It was bizarre.
Yeah,
it was good. I enjoyed it. It was that was a great time for. Obviously, folk always talk about that Saturday morning 80s era of cartoons, and I remember when Sky first came out over here. Sky One used to do Saturday morning cartoons. That was just reruns of these 80s, the real Ghostbusters and fucking Mask, and that was good because I was only like 4 or 5, 6 years old, and I was like, "This is amazing!
Yeah,
this is all really violent."
So I used to watch when I was a kid. Yeah,
I remember I was talking about this one about. You ever watch Jamie and the Magic Torch?
Jamie and the Magic Torch. Yeah,
he'd get like scared in his bed at night, and then something would happen, and he would go under his bed and slide down like a magical pole and get to a magical land. And somebody pointed out to me later on that it was basically a dissociative thing, that Jamie was being abused, and that was sort of what was going on in his head when the abuse was taking place.
Trying to escape.
Oh man!
What the hell?
You can do that. You can do that with anything.
Yeah, Mr. Obviously we just go in and
that one. My favorite one ever is the whole plot of Grease occurs when Sandra Dee is drowning. So that I saved her life, she nearly drowned. But this actually what you're experiencing throughout the entire movie of Grease is her death. So that's her mind. That's her mind flashing before her eyes before she descends into the darkness of the water. And then obviously the last shot of Grease is her flying into the sky with the love of her life. And actually, there you go.
The show's taking a dark turn again.
And as I watch things for that, that's the case. Like I say, we talked about Sucker Punch earlier on, which has got that kind of dark ending. And if anybody remembers Brazil,
Yeah,
it
Brazil,
had
yeah.
similar sort of very dark ending. Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't mind Jason.
Any-
So I think I'm too old for that.
that was a good one. It was just like everything else, wasn't it? It was like
Remember
a guy in a
Charlton
ragtag transforming shit. So
and the Wheelies, John.
I remember Charby, yeah. Something it is, yeah. Disturbing as hell as well.
And there's a guy. I remember there was a thing when I was a kid called Pigeon Street.
I remember Pigeon Street, yeah.
There's a guy now.
Clara.
He does artwork in the style of Pigeon Street, but like he did for movies. One of them was like a scene from Dead Man's Shoes. You know that scene where he's basically pointing to his thing, but in the style of Pigeon Street, which is absolutely
I love that
amazing.
stuff. There's a punk band that play in Edinburgh called Trumpton Riots. It's like my favourite name for a band ever. It's like has anybody? So obviously, I know that Stu and John both said that they could only do about an hour, and we're at an hour and 6. So, is there anything else that we want to talk about before we call that a night?
I think we've covered a broad spectrum of subjects tonight, from Transformers to again paedophilia, and we've run the gamut.
Good.
Run the gamut of topics.
My recommendations: get yourself on Freevee. Season 3 of Alex Rider is up, which is excellent if you're a fan of the old, child James Bond adventures of Alex Rider. I'm enjoying that immensely.
Cool. There's a couple of things started today. Dead Boy Detectives is started on Netflix today.
Oh yeah,
Today.
I think Knuckles is out tomorrow if you're a Sonic fan.
Was that a Neil Gaiman? Was that a
that was a bit ago. Sandman Universe, yeah. So Dead Boy Detectives is out now on Netflix.
All episodes.
All episodes, as far as I'm aware, yeah.
Give me something to do this evening.
The Knuckles comes out, isn't it? And that's
I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow, yeah.
Again, and it's Idris again doing the voice.
I thought I'd watch Sonic. I thought I watched Sonic 2 before I watched Knuckles, and I watched that yesterday. It took me about 4 hours to watch a 2-hour film because I kept getting bored and just texting and stuff. So yeah, we'll see.
Kept thinking you were missing plot, then rewound it and realised you weren't missing plot. It was just
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
there is no.
Pretty sure I nodded off as well at some point as well. I think so. I had to skip back a few bits as well. Yeah.
I think they've done a Sonic 2. I know there was Sonic 1, and I think there was the big hoorah about Sonic, about how he looked, and how ugly Sonic. You told me about how ugly Sonic appeared in the
Chip and Dale,
yeah.
Movie,
Yeah, he's essential to the plot of the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie as ugly Sonic. It's great. It's so funny.
Well, there's the Knuckles series, and they're making Sonic 3 as well. So.
I don't think those movies were made for us guys, so we shouldn't be complaining.
I'm not on here to complain that the Sonic movies have betrayed the fucking storyline of Sonic from the 1980s, because it's just not true. That was always a game for kids. Transformers G1, on the other hand,
however,
I watch this. I like watching list programming, and there's a group of guys called Triple Jump who do computer game themed videos, and they list every computer game franchise by like publisher. So they did like all the Sega franchises, and they had the Sonic franchise as a whole. Of the 60 odd Sega franchises, they had it at like 20 something. They were like, right, we know, right, we know that you all now hate us, and you're all unsubscribing, and you're all fucking off because we put. But actually, if you view the whole Sonic franchise as a whole, it's shit. It's only Sonic 1, 2, and 3 that are any good. So there you go. Which is, if you think about it, that's the only ones I ever played anyway. I don't know if anyone else was the same. Yeah, actually.
Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers 3 and Super Mario Brothers on DS are the only decent Super Mario Brothers games.
I see that. You're wrong, man. You're wrong. You're fucking wrong.
The original
Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario, the new one, that's Super Mario Odyssey. They're all amazing.
Oh, right. DS and the original Nintendo Entertainment System. And there you go.
Okay.
I even loved Super Mario 2, even though it was a completely different beast from all the rest of the games. You can play these. You can play these on anything. So, so what was the Double Dragon or Frogger? What was above?
What was on the Sega one? Oh, like I'm checking. What was the? Oh my goodness!
Double Dragon.
Double Dragon was great.
So it was based on a franchise.
Beast.
Yeah, but the Alter Beast was really low as well. It was based on franchise, so it was based on like. So they categorized like a franchise as any Sega specific with more, and so you're including things like Virtual Rally. What I'll do is I'll put it in the comments. I actually can't remember. I can't remember what number one was. But they did. It's a good channel. Everyone should check out. They did it with Xbox as well. So like all like Microsoft franchises and stuff like that. It was good. They did it with consoles, like a 3-hour video on like every console ever released from worst to best. It was great.
Somebody's saying no to me. I don't understand what they're saying no to because I say so many controversial things.
The thing about Mario.
About the movie? Oh yeah, no, yeah, but all shit. Apart from 1, 3, and yeah. Shit. I think I'm listing the 3 that I managed to finish. Although I never actually finished Nintendo DS. I never tell you about the harrowing thing that happened to me on Nintendo DS. Is I was on like there's like 9 worlds in the Nintendo DS version, the increasingly number levels, and I was on like world 8, section 7 or something like that. And I went away to work one day, and I came back, and because obviously the DS was owned by Joshua and Declan, so they had a save each, and I had a save. You could only have 3 saves on the Nintendo DS. And Joshua had gotten to a stage in like World 3 that he couldn't get past. So he decided to restart the game again and oversave my game. So I had to start from scratch again. So I didn't, and I never did, and I put it away. I say put it away, I locked it away in a cupboard and never let the boys play with it again. Because, I never went back to it, but it was great. It was so good. It was one of those games. You ever get that thing when you play a game so much that you wake up sometimes in the middle of the night and your thumbs are going because you play something. That never happens to you. It happens to gamers, by the way. That happens to gamers. And you wake up dreaming about the game that you've been playing. So.
I'm trying to find out what the best franchise of Sega was.
Spyro.
Spyro was quite low as well because Spyro again. Everyone remembers the first one, and just in the second one, they were all amazing, and they weren't after the second one.
Zelda's Sega one, is it not?
That's Nintendo. That's like number 2 on the Nintendo list after Mario, because Mario has loads of good games and Sonic doesn't.
At least 3.
Okay. Anyway, are we all good? Is there? Everyone needs to check out. By the way,
Super Mario Brothers is the best TV adaptation or movie adaptation of a game ever made.
Not the
recent one. Not the recent one. I'm talking Bob Hoskins back in the day.
John
Leguizamo. Yeah, that's the one.
Everyone needs to watch Stu's video from the Big Swally. It's good. If you're,
thank you.
We put it up on Stu put it up on the BrewGooders Facebook page earlier today. It's really good, and so yeah, it's good. It was really awesome. You cut out the whole thing. There was this a weird bit. I haven't really spoke to John or Andrew about it since, but it reminded me a couple of months ago when we had Katie Cunningham on, and we had that unnecessarily long conversation about the Canadian horror series Cube. Yeah. There was a beer at the Big Swally called Gleaming the Cube, and we were there. And it was like, holy shit! Like, what are the chances that this brewery has like a fucking cube themed beer, and it wasn't. It was named after a surfboarding movie with Christian Slater.
Playing the Cube, yeah, I know that, yeah.
I've never heard
Terrible
of that.
movie.
Terrible
Exactly.
movie.
That's what we said. We'd never heard of it, but then
Yeah, in the Cube, yeah.
Happened to Christian Slater. He's like three, 4 good movies back in the day, and then nothing for 30 years till he made Mr. Robot.
Christian Slater's made tons of good films. How dare you?
Since the 1990s, since Pump Up the Volume and Robin Hood.
And
Broken Arrow,
Hard Rain, Broken Arrow.
Hard Rain was is that the Tokyo one? That wasn't him, was it?
No, Hard Rain is the Flood.
Freeman.
Morgan Freeman,
The back
Randy
robot.
Quaid,
What's one
Minnie Driver,
One where they go to Tokyo and Andy Garcia gets killed.
Black Rain.
Black Rain. No, I'm getting confused. Broken Arrow. I remember that one. That's a totally ridiculous movie. That's John Travolta.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's good.
A nuclear weapon in the
Yes,
something like that.
it's amazing.
But even that was
That was that sort of apex 90s action movies like The Rock,
Yeah.
Broken Arrow,
John Woo.
Yeah,
Con Air.
Con Air, yeah.
Con Air. What a classic, man. Con Air.
There's actually a bit in Broken Arrow that makes me laugh so much.
What's
The theme's by Hans Zimmer, and the hero theme it's just like a guitar, and it goes ding 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 ding. And in Scream 2, if you watch Scream 2, there's a scene where Deputy Dewey is walking across all heroically across like the campus of the college, and they play that theme tune for no reason. And the only person in entire cinema that laughed at it, I was like, yes, Hans Zimmer theme tune for Broken Arrow. And my wife, my then girlfriend was like, what are you laughing at? I'm like, never mind. Never mind.
Christian Slater, did you ever play that game Alone in the Dark for the PlayStation?
No.
I'm aware of it.
Yeah, there's a video game series called Alone in the Dark, and they did a live action
Movie
version
yeah.
of it that's got Christian Slater and Tara Reid in it. And I
It's
think
meant to
it's
be the worst movie ever.
It's never made.
Tara Reid. That's like the stamp of quality in a movie. Who's in it? Tara Reid.
Excuse me.
Hey, she's had a great career, thank you.
Come on, man. Do you know what I was watching?
American Pie, Van Wilder,
Big Lebowski. Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski, Alone in the Dark, the Sharknado series.
American Pie 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
No, she's done the third one. Sorry, 1, 2, and 4. Sorry.
Dreadful. John, have you seen Argyle yet?
No, but I've got it saved on my Apple Plus, so I'm going to watch Argyle.
Genuinely feels like the spiritual successor to Mr. Right.
All right, cool. Okay.
Sam Rockwell in it is absolutely the best thing because he's absolutely the best thing in just about everything. You know.
Yeah.
He's in a movie. He's the fucking thing like
Yeah.
that. And it genuinely feels like he's basically taken the character from Mr. Right and sort of like, what if Mr. Right was a spy? And does wonderful things with it, mate. Awesome.
Yeah, it's on my Apple Plus list.
It's not brilliant. Sam Rockwell's brilliant in it. And it has some good moments.
Cool.
It's exactly what you'd expect from a Matthew Vaughn movie. So there you go.
Matthew Vaughn's like a total sleeper director for me, and actually, if I stop and consider what he's made, I'm like, actually, he's made some of my favorite films, but he's never in my conversation for favorite directors.
Apart from Kingsman, I honestly couldn't. I probably have seen more movies than that, but apart from Kingsman, I can't think of anything else that he's done.
He did X-Men First Class. That was
Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass, yeah.
Kick-Ass, yeah.
Decent.
As I say, that I don't know if it was just how old I was when I saw it and where I was in life, but I really like X-Men First Class, and that's his as well.
Yeah, it's good.
And then
It's good, yeah.
Kingsman was his next film after that, I think. So, Kingsman's great.
Kingsman is great. I'd like another Kingsman movie, to be honest with you, I think.
We're supposed to be getting one next couple of years.
Hopefully. Taron Egerton's not too busy being super famous.
Yeah.
And Bond. Who's going to be Bond?
Yeah, totally. Taylor Johnson, I heard.
No, Johnson.
He's the. Yeah, I heard he was the.
We'll see what happens if Craven Hunter.
Harry Styles.
Harry Styles will be Bond. Harry Styles could be Bond.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Why not? She can do anything.
Everything else.
She can do anything.
She could do like if it was Taylor Swift that was the new James Bond, she could write this theme tune and sing the theme tune as well.
Oh, theme tune. That's theme tune.
Oh
Good
god, that
times.
show was awful.
That's so fucking niche.
It's like you say to your son, you say to your kids going to no do that, and they're like, eh?
Yeah.
Like you would have thought that was hilarious 30 years ago, son.
Oh, exactly.
So hilarious now.
Yes. Right,
And on that
guys.
bombshell.
On that bombshell. I will catch everyone in the next week. We're hoping to get I'm just editing, so get onto our YouTube channel and subscribe it because then we can monetize it, and that'd be amazing. But also we have I'm digging out really lots and lots of old clips from episodes because we're 215 episodes or whatever. We've got loads and loads of old clips of stuff that folk haven't seen in years because nobody has ventured that far back. But I'm trying to find things like we have an exclusive conversation with Kevin Eastman sitting on YouTube now about his favorite beer, which is pretty cool. So fuck all this stuff about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We want to know what he drinks. So
Wary about you pulling out like old stuff. I apologise in advance for anything that I might have said when I was younger and much less politically correct than I am.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll need to put that. I'll need to put that in the comments in the episode description.
Well, I need to disclaimer. Andrew doesn't stand by anything that he says. He just says things sometimes to get a laugh or to noise up with other people that are there.
Exactly. Right, guys, have a lovely weekend.
Genuinely hate Taylor Swift. Okay.
Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers, guys.